This is 10 Eyewitness News with Anne Fulwood.
The Prime Minister, the cook and his housekeepers. A Senate committee told it's hard to get good help. Protesting against a death in custody, trouble flares in the heart of Brisbane. And the Princess and the Press, a public outcry over Diana's private workout. Good evening. First tonight, the latest ANZ Bank survey has revealed the number of jobs advertised last month increased by 8%. Prime Minister Paul Keating says they follow a trend to higher exports shown in recent balance of payments statistics.
Prime Minister Keating was upbeat to an international business audience in Adelaide, stressing new opportunities abroad and recovery at home.
We're starting to see Australian industry turn the corner. Orders are picking up, the economy has been accelerating, and the world environment is starting to improve.
The latest ANZ Job Ads survey lends weight to the claim, a 7.7% surge last month, a rise of 23% in the last 5 months. All states recorded increases, with Victoria the strongest for the year so far. But the Australian Chamber of Commerce and Industry warns investor confidence is still weak.
It will not be easy to bring down unemployment, but exports and the world economy will have to be a major focus.
Mr Davis says the performance of the US economy and recovery in Japan are the key to our revival. A number of commentators are suggesting the economic cycle is turning for Mr Keating, with stronger worldwide recovery tipped for 18 months to 2 years. And that's closer to the next election. The opinion polls already have the Prime Minister benefiting from John Hewson's troubles.
Well, they go up and down, these things. I mean, you can't take too much notice of them.
Bronwyn Bishop dropped from view today, as did most senior Liberals. Former Prime Minister Bob Hawke, no stranger to leadership coups, was asked what advice he has for Dr Hewson.
I'd have a very flexible neck.
Paul Bongiorno, 10 News.
But all is not well in the Keating household. 3 staff at the lodge have been sacked amid allegations of misuse of official credit cards and complaints from the Keatings over the way their house was being run.
The Keating family normally has a domestic staff of 8, but a month ago 2 female housekeepers and a male cook were sacked.
It was a fairly difficult situation. The house just wasn't running smoothly, so...
Government officials told a Senate Estimates Committee that among other problems, the housekeepers weren't checking first before using government MasterCards to buy provisions for the lodge. The Keatings complained.
Were certainly bringing to our attention that the house was not operating properly and was very unhappy.
Opposition senators also questioned the role of the Keatings' part-time childminder, who's also on the government payroll at $21.35 an hour.
I mean, would this person be employed when Mrs Keating has to go to a Labor Party function?
That was too much for Senator Gareth Evans, representing Mr Keating.
Stop fishing around for a pathetic political line.
But the question is whether the taxpayer...
Frankly, none of your business.
The question is whether it is my business if the taxpayer pays for it.
The lodge sackings came after Mrs Margaret Betteridge, the Prime Minister's fine arts advisor, left her job after a dispute over a $25,000 table for the lodge, which was supplied by a friend of Mr Keating's in the antique trade. Senators claimed that Mrs Keating also selected lights for the lodge, worth $8,000 from the same dealer, and another of Mr Keating's contacts supplied bird prints worth $100,000 for the cabinet room. Paul Smith, 10 News.
Meanwhile, Victorian Premier Jeff Kennett has admitted using his official chauffeur and parliamentary office for private business. Mr Kennett admits he used his office and driver for a wool processing business, Ultrafine, in which he invested $500,000 while he was opposition leader in 1991. Mr Kennett has rejected opposition calls to stand aside, insisting his efforts prevented the knitting mill being sold to overseas interests. New Zealand's political crisis, with the weekend election results still unknown, has spilled into the economic arena. Finance editor Helen McCombie reports the share market plunged and the New Zealand dollar was sold off.
The New Zealand election result has left neither of the major parties with a clear majority. The Nationals, under the leadership of Jim Bolger, have 49 seats. Labor has 46, and the 2 minor parties, the Alliance and New Zealand First, holding the balance of power with 2 seats each. Up to 9 seats are still in doubt, and there'll be no final result for the next 2 weeks. Mr Bolger appealed for financial markets to remain calm, but his plea was ignored. New Zealand's share market saw shades of the '87 crash and prices plummeted. At one stage, the index down 10%. but the afternoon brought a partial recovery and the market finished down 138 points.
Gradually over the course of the day, we saw some bargain hunting come into the market, and then this afternoon we saw the presence of offshore investors, Asian investors, starting to buy the market.
The New Zealand dollar dropped almost 2 US cents in early trading, then rallied when offshore investors came into the market. Bond yields jumped 1.5%, and one New Zealand bank promised no major moves in mortgage rates for the next 2 months in a bid to restore calm.
One always has to keep a level head in these circumstances, but when major events happen, people have to work out where the new rates are going to lie, and that's really the process the market's been going through today.
The turmoil in New Zealand affected Australian share prices. The All Ordinaries Index lost 25 points. BHP held up well, the banks were weak, while Fletcher Challenge fell 18 cents. That's the latest in business news.
The Australian dollar tonight's on 67.05 US, 45.2p and 72.43 yen. Gold in London, $377.80 an ounce. The FT100's up 5. The Hang Seng closed today up 181 points and the Nikkei was also up 34. Businessman John Elliott will have to wait a week to find out if a federal court judge is going to lift an injunction stopping him from being charged over the disappearance of $66 million. Lawyers for Mr Elliott told today's final hearing their client will take civil action against the National Crime Authority unless the injunction remains in place. It prevents the NCA investigating or charging Mr Elliott and 4 other former Elders Excel executives. Mr Elliott claims the NCA's 4-year investigation into his business affairs was a politically motivated conspiracy to blacken his name as Liberal Party president in the lead-up to the 1990 federal election. Police clashed with protesters in Brisbane today following another black death in custody. Several police were injured as Aborigines demanded justice over the death of 18-year-old Daniel Yock.
What began as a peaceful demonstration through city streets developed into a brawl as a delegation from Yock's family discussed the death at police headquarters. 5 people needed treatment, but there were no arrests. The group claims Daniel Yock was kicked after his arrest last night and collapsed, dying on the way to hospital.
I believe he was kicked all around Brisbane, all around the streets, all around the gutter.
We thought we did everything right, but according to the people today, well, they say we haven't done that. Time will tell whether we did the right thing or the wrong thing.
Queensland's Criminal Justice Commission is investigating. In Sydney, massive traffic disruption as the army was called in to detonate a suspicious package found by a security guard in a city bus shelter in George Street. Roadblocks were set up around Bathurst and Market Streets, shoppers and commuters evacuated until the area was eventually declared safe and reopened. Pam Mackay, 10 News.
Ahead, the tiny Fijian girl who's winning the hearts of her Australian doctors, and the word is out, real men don't rape.
Hopefully, I can reach out to the younger ones and, make it known to them that it's not the right thing to do.
Have a look at the look on his face. It's a disappointment.
What a moment.
Sports Tonight, the face of sport.
The worst part of owning your own home is being locked into mortgage repayments for the next 25 years. And looking at your statement, you don't feel like you've made any progress at all. But if you get the Home Loan Deal of the Year from the Bank of the Year, you'll pay no bank fees and you could rip years off your home loan. To find out more, tear down and see us soon. Simple, isn't it? Well, it is when you bank with the Bank of the Year, ANZ.
You know, nothing's more important than your health. But when you're buying health insurance, well, money is pretty important too. So which health fund is the best value?
NIB costs less than the other major health funds for comparable tables. In fact, NIB could save your family from $72.80 up to $397.80 a year.
There's no comparison, really. NIB gives us the cover we need at a price we can afford. That's why we belong with NIB.
Modella, the chosen cheese.
If you love theatre, you'll love what Victoria has on show. Right now you can book for Scrooge, West Side Story or South Pacific. Magnificent weekend packages include a show, a return flight, 2 nights accommodation and start from only $345. For world-class theatre, Victoria's just the ticket. Ask your travel agent for this great Aussie holidays package or call 299 2288.
Twinings herbal teas use unbleached tea bags and are caffeine-free. What better way to refine the moment than with Twinings herbal teas?
Ouch! 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 Still removing unwanted hair the old-fashioned way, all pain, no gain? Then you'll love Nad's hair removal.